I like Pokemon cards. Do you like Pokemon cards? I like Pokemon cards. I've been collecting since a little child, just a wee little thing, collecting for absolute years. I've got myself a pretty decent collection. My most favorite in my collection has to be these three. Now, my favorite Pokemon of all time is Blastoise, and I'm missing one card, which isn't gonna exactly be as easy to get nowadays. You know, I'm looking for the Mega Blastoise EX, and since I'm not exactly going to be able to pull that card, I was thinking, why don't we make the Blastoise? Now you might be wondering, how the hell am I ever going to be able to do that? For those of you who don't know, my name is Ashen and I'm an artist from the UK. My style ranges from doodle art, Pokemon, all of this type of styles, which gives me more than enough experience to actually make one of these my own. What I have in mind is I'm gonna have the card, and you know, it's gonna be all like, you know, splashing out with a bunch of doodles, a bunch of characters, a bunch of pop culture references. Hopefully I don't get sued by Pokemon for making one of their cards, but you know, hopefully it turns as good as I'm hoping. But you know, that's enough said, let's get straight into it.
Now, before we get started, I would love it if you guys could show some support by subscribing and turning the notification bell on, because any support you guys show me really does mean so much to me. It helps me have this thing become a full-time thing, of which I would love to do. So essentially, thank you guys so much for all the support you guys have shown me, and let's get straight into the video. Okay, so currently I am literally tucked away in my wardrobe right now, so hopefully the voice quality turns out decent. However, let's get straight into the drawing. So far I'm literally just, you know, I'm trying out, you know, different techniques and different styles of doodles, because each drawing I want to make sure I step out of my comfort zone, so you know, I can improve my art and improve my work in, you know, how I do things. And yes, we have to be equipped with the Lightning McQueen Crocs, because, you know, well, shout out to Bryce, but overall, Lightning McQueen is, you know, my all-time favorite cartoon character. Get with it. But overall, back to the drawing. I keep getting distracted. Essentially, for those of you who may have missed it, I have actually interpreted something called the golden ratio in the drawing, which is essentially, it's a type of measurement, I believe, which essentially it starts from one point, and as it stretches out, it essentially becomes, well, bigger. And what I've tried to do with this doodle specifically was to practice my perspective, especially with doodle art, because I see a lot of people, especially me, having their own style with doodle art, you know. However, there's no exactly real perspective, and by all means, there is no disrespect to anyone who would like to work this way, because I also work this way a lot of these times. However, I like to see, you know, a little bit of difference, so you know, that's why I'm, you know, giving it a go, you know. Speaking of other artists, I've interpreted a lot of different artists' work that inspire me, especially from artists such as Defaced Studios, Takashi Murakami, and obviously Vex. But yeah, overall, I like sticking to my style, however, stretching what I can and can't do. I hope that each time I create an artwork, there is at least, you know, a few different types of doodles, because I really did try to step out my comfort zone with this doodle. You know, I would usually just draw the regular doodles, which I do. However, you know, I felt like when I did step out my comfort zone, I really do step closer into finding a complete unique style, which is to me, and you know, a complete satisfied art style of which I love to work in. And well, to be fair, overall, I am trying my best to become a self-employed artist full-time. So, you know, everyone's got to start somewhere. So honestly, I think the content creation is, you know, is the way to go about it. You know, I've got an incredible art community with me, and, you know, with God, especially through Jesus Christ, there is nothing I can't do. So we're going to be moving on to the colouring right about now, and I tried to get it as close to the colourway as possible. However, you know, my realism isn't the best, I'll be completely honest. However, I think this like jagged, you know, like battle damaged kind of style really goes a long way, and very much so complements the vibrancy of the doodles and all of that. So overall, I really think it did turn out so well, and I'll be completely honest, the colouring took me so long to do. But honestly, as you can see, I'm really happy with with how it is all turning out. But as we finally get to the final steps of the piece, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if furthermore, I hope you enjoy the reveal. God bless you.
Since I was a little kid, you know, I don't know if the specific